So what do I mean when I say victim? It's this. Victims live at the effect of life. Things are happening to me. It's when we are impacted by external forces, right? Everything's coming at us. People, circumstances, the government, my mother, my sister, my friend, my partner, the kids, my boss, COVID, right? These natural disasters, floods, that guy hit me with his car. All of that. And that is the consciousness that we've been born into. A creator, on the other hand, which is where we're going, is not subject to circumstances. They are the determinant themselves. They are creating their life as the predominant creative force. And that's where we're going. That is the way of the wolf pack. So if we want to stop living at the mercy of everyone and everything around us, then we got to get out of the drama triangle. And what the hell is that, I hear you say? The drama triangle was first described by a dude called Stephen Karpman back in the 1960s. And I found it written about in a really useful book, a very enjoyable read. Yeah, the book is called The Power of Ted by David Emerald, originally published in 2005. Grab this book. It's such a good read, and it's going to tell you all about the drama triangle. He called it the DDT. Yeah, that's his acronym for it. And what that stands for is the dreaded drama triangle. And I'm going to talk about it briefly, but go and read the book. Yeah, it's a powerful, powerful book. The DDT is a model of dysfunctional social interactions and illustrates a power game that involves three intertwined, right, totally entangled roles. And we've all been born into this. And the three roles are victim, rescuer, and persecutor. And it's how we respond to conflict, right, in our lives as humans. So the victim is the central figure in the DDT, right, in the drama triangle. And a victim is someone who feels powerless, right, has the self-identification of living as a victim, that is their role in life. Poor me. It's all happening to me. Yeah. It's that way of being in the world. And it can be really manipulative. It can be helpless and very needy, complainy and whiny, right? Whinging. Very fearful, very downtrodden, very much the doormat of the way of being in the world, and super, super blamey, right? It's always like that. So the persecutor serves as the cause of the victim's perceived powerlessness, right? And it just reinforces the victim's poor me identity. So as I talk about this, you're going to start to see how entangled, how entwined these roles are, the dynamic that plays out. So a persecutor may be a person, it can be a condition, yeah, it can be a health condition, or a circumstance, right? COVID, a natural disaster. For example, right, the global pandemic. When the persecutor is a person, he or she is symbiotically linked to the victim because they're both depending on the other to stay trapped in the dynamic. The persecutor seeks to dominate either overtly, like very obviously, or covertly, right? Undercover, and maintain a one-up position, right? A power over through a variety of assertive and or manipulative means. Often a persecutor's behavior is driven by their own fear of becoming or re-becoming a victim themselves. It's one of the things I always say to my kids is that hurt people, right? There's a reason why people are bullies. I was talking about in a school situation. The ones that are bullies are being bullied by someone else, generally at home. So a persecutor's behavior is driven by their own fear of becoming or re-becoming a victim. Right? The victim is at the core of it. Fear of losing control can also be a factor. Right? They have these qualities of it's all your fault. Right? Angry, aggressive, judgmental, bullying, as I said, demanding, spiteful and scornful. They're people that don't value other people's opinions, right? Views and other people's integrity. So the rescuer is the final role in this dynamic, this dysfunctional dynamic that we've all been born into as part of the victim consciousness. The rescuer is any person or activity. It can be an activity, such as an addiction, that serves to help a victim relieve the pain of victimhood. The person in the role of rescuer helps the victim numb out. Oh, I have so much, I relate so much to this. Despite having helpful intentions, because the rescuers have very helpful intentions, the rescuer reinforces the victim's poor me attitude, right? Poor me way of being by adopting a poor you attitude, which serves to increase the victim's sense of powerlessness. And this renders the victim dependent on the rescuer. So you can see the link again, that the entanglement, the need for each other, the link. They're dependent on one another. It renders the victim dependent on the rescuer for a sense of safety. This bond is forged, right, by the victim's shame for needing to be rescued, and cemented by the rescuer's own fear of abandonment, right, or loss of purpose. They do it to feel needed, to feel purposeful. And the qualities of a rescuer is, let me help you. I need to save you. And it can appear as really self-sacrificing. It can do. These are the people that are over helpful, and facilitative. Right? They like to be needed. They need to be needed. They can be prone to meddling unnecessarily, right? Engulfing and entrenching themselves into other people's business. And they're people who don't value other people's capacity to help themselves. They don't see other people as powerful. And it's one of the biggest things, the biggest parts of the mission that I'm here to do and the work that I bring, is to be able to see other people in their power. So it's not all doom and gloom, right? This triangle, we want to be aware of it so that we can lift ourselves out of it. This triangle that is totally driven by our beliefs. This triangle, right, thrives in victim consciousness, in the victim orientation, where we are orientated towards the problems that dominate one's life. When a problem occurs, it engages, this inner state of anxiety or stress, which in turn causes someone to react. And there are a few different ways that we react, right, to stress. We fight it, right? We pull out the sword and fight. We flight, we run away, we get the hell out of here, we freeze, and we fawn. And I'm going to put a button down below which has it's got some more information about that. And it's useful. It's useful to see how we respond or how we react to stress. And when we can bring the connection back to ourselves, which is what we're doing here in this program, we want to learn about ourselves, right? One of the most powerful premises that weave its way through the way of the wolf pack is know thyself. Know thyself. And if we are constantly always distracted outside of ourselves, oh, what's going on over here? Oh, drama over here. Oh, then we never learn about ourselves. We never know ourselves. And we want to learn what our responses are, our reactions are. Because that's the place from where we can change them. So the DDT, the dreaded drama triangle, is based on fear. Yeah, avoidance of feelings. Oh, don't want to feel that. Right? Avoidance of loss, pain, right? Reality, aggressive reactivity. Right? We're trying to avoid that, trying to avoid conflict. We're trying to avoid the feeling the way that we feel. So in the book, The Power of Ted, much of humanity is sleepwalking. This is what David Emerald says, and it's such a great piece to share. Much of humanity is sleepwalking through life, unknowingly entangled in the DDT and the victim orientation in which it sits. And it's not bad. Right? We've all been born into this consciousness, this orientation, this way of seeing and therefore experiencing the world. And it was needed. The victim orientation has served a vital evolutionary purpose, right? Helping humanity survive by reacting to threats in the hostile world. Right? When humanity was deep in this version of survival mode, and it has now outlived its usefulness as our default orientation, which is what the way of the wolf pack is all about. A way into a very different orientation, the creator orientation. Because we can get to an empowered place where we're not playing out these dysfunctional roles anymore, where we can move from the persecutor, or the bully, to the challenger. The challenger. Someone who's going to challenge what they see in front of them, question it. The rescuer, or the savior. There's so much of me in this. To the coach. Right? Where I see other people in their power. I see my clients as powerful. And support them and empower them to do the same. To be able to see themselves as powerful. And the victim, right? Or the helpless, to the creator. To become the creator in their lives rather than living at the mercy of it. And that is what this work is all about. Because if you are here, then you want to create your life rather than being at the mercy of it. You want to be the creator of your reality, to create the relationships in your life that you would love to be living, and create a life that you love. And that's exactly where we're going. So what's first? Where do we start? Where do we start? We start here. That's where we start.